Thank you so much for being here. We're really excited to talk about the things that we've been building with you in mind. Our passion, our desire is to build software that helps you do your best work. And that's our core passion is doing our best work so that you can do yours. And I'm Adam York, the CEO here, and I get to work with this incredible team, including our senior product manager, Sam Anderson. Sam's the one who's going to do most of the showing here. Sam comes from a really outstanding background in building innovative software that solves customer problems, and that's what he's really focused on. Some of you may have talked to him. He's been talking to a lot of our users and customers, getting input on where we should go and where we should build. If you haven't talked to him yet, you should. He's a great person to talk to, and so we're excited to show you what we've learned from those conversations and how we're developing our tools to help meet your needs. So just so you know, kind of like the heart of what we're trying to accomplish with our software, we really want to automate equipment management. And the reason we want to do that is because most of you and your team do great work that's supported by all sorts of devices. And that's good news mostly because those devices, those pieces of equipment are generally pretty reliable. The problem is when they fail, it's very, very disruptive, and it undercuts your ability to do the incredible support that each of you do in your communities. It undermines your ability to be able to support your team and the work that they do. And so our goal is to reduce that disruption, to automate that process and make it simple for you. That's really the heart of what we're trying to accomplish with our technology. So we're going to go over some, there's a lot, we've been delivering a lot of software. We're going to go over just a couple of kind of like really key areas. We will have a Q&A, and we already have entries for the Visa gift card already in progress. But if you want some more of those entries, we have someone keeping track of that. And so we're excited to be able to give that away for participation. But the main thing is we really just want to hear from you. Your opinion matters a lot. The questions you have matter a lot. So we're going to go into these particular areas. Sam's going to actually walk us through this. Some of these we're going to go into a little bit more detail, and then some we won't. And if there's some of those areas that you want more detail on, we can always provide that to you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Sam. We're going to go through our presentation here, and then we'll have some Q&A at the end, and we're excited to talk at that point.
All right, thanks, Adam. I am so excited. I mean, those of you who've talked to me know that's kind of how I am, but I just cannot wait to share all of the hard work that we've gone through and the value of some of the things we've built over the last 6 months. So it's exciting. I'm excited for the next 6 months, what we're going to build, but let's focus on what's been done. A quick snapshot on a lot of the features that we've put out over the last little while. I'm not going to read off this whole list, but the ones we've highlighted are some of the things we're going to dive into a little bit more today. Some stuff about Equips Connect we'll mention. We'll talk about PM scheduling. We'll talk about, some things in our new smart dispatch. But there's a lot that we've done here. If something grabs your eye from this list that you'd like to talk about more, or you're curious about, or something that really resonates with the value you're seeking when using equips.com, please reach out to your AM or shoot me an email. I love getting emails and having chats with people. So without further ado, we'll start with talking about the service request experience. And this, as you all know, is the bread and butter of equips.com. We're really excited about how successful it's been over time, and we've added some things to it that have made it more powerful, more robust, and more tailored to each of the experiences that you have at your financial institutions, your branches, your locations, your hospitals, wherever you might be coming from today. So to jump in, we're all familiar with the classic service request experience. This really is what Equips nails. I'll just walk through what it looks like in the application. I'll be jumping back and forth here. Webinar, that's us. But creating a service request for a piece of equipment is quite easy. From the homepage, you click the button here, and it's quite simple. If you are an admin, you can choose the location. For most people, they're going to be logging in as the frontline staff, the ones who really have to deal with the equipment. So they won't even have to choose a location. They'll have theirs default there. And I can say, you know what, I'm having a problem here with the alarm system. I can choose from a list here that would be, if this wasn't fake data, would be much more descriptive, but I can choose this alarm system and then choose exactly what's going on. There's been this false alarm. And I can type it in, false alarm has been going off for 2 hours or whatever it might be. And then from there, I can submit this service request. But before I do, if there's key parties involved in the alarm system or people that need to be updated throughout this process, I can add additional context. This is actually a new feature that we've added, the ability to choose from an existing user. Let's say that I'm working closely with Luke, excuse me. If I'm working closely with Luke, I can choose him and it's going to automatically populate the information there, saving me the step. And then I can submit this service request and feel confident that Equips is going to take care of this in the background and help me get the help that I need, especially with something like an alarm system that's been going off. So really an exciting experience there. And it's quite easy. And we're all used to this one. Another one that we're used to as well, but works similarly, is the requesting consumables. So if I, need some more paper for the printer, I can select the printer that I'd like. And I can say I want reams of paper. And I can just ask for these consumables to be ordered and get these sent to my location. We need some more paper. And this, whether I'm, at the office or I'm at the branch, I can submit this request and Equips is going to take care of making sure that we get that paper where we need it. Now, both of these have been experiences that you're used to that have gotten a little bit better, but we're excited to show off a new one here, which is the scheduling preventive maintenance. It's been really important to do PMs. We've heard this a lot from customers, and it's something that they have wanted more power and autonomy over, setting their own schedules, deciding what piece of equipment should get it, and having more control and insight into this process. And so now we're excited that customers, clients, users all can click this button here to start scheduling preventive maintenance. And it's the same service request process that we're all familiar with, that we know and love. You'll want to choose, I have to make sure that I show you what a customer would see. Here, you choose the equipment's location, choose what piece of equipment you'd like to work on. In this case, let's say it's, we want to work on the drive up, choose this piece of drive up equipment, and I can select the date that I'd like this to be dispatched. As we work closely with providers, the corrective maintenance is usually going to take the priority here. So there is some window. Sometimes the day we dispatch is not going to be the day that the provider is there. It can take up to 30 or 60 days. But in general, you're going to be able to set this request and get information that you need. This is the time for our regular yearly cleaning and PM. And I can then, again, I can set additional contacts. If I was working in the office and I knew that there was a different main contact at the branch, I could choose someone else. If I said Beth is going to be handling this, I could put Beth there, and she would be the one who'd be running point on this. And finally, at the end, we just want to say that you have PM hours in many of your contracts, but we will we just want to make sure that if you don't have enough, that it's going to be all go through there. So that's how it works. It's that simple, just to schedule that PM and get it dispatched and get it taken care of. So that's the first main thing that we're so excited to share. This service request feature has been well utilized, and we're excited this now extends to preventive maintenance scheduling. Next up is Smart Dispatch. And this is a little bit harder to show off in the application because there's so much that's happening behind the scenes. That dispatch process that we just went through, it's become smarter. We have new algorithms that are working behind the scenes to help get you the best value, get you the best experience possible with service. So we'll talk about two of them here. One being we now have what's called auto reboot on our Equips Connect ATMs. So if you subscribe to the Equips Connect, this is a new feature for you customers. If you don't yet have Equips Connect on your ATMs, please talk to your account manager. This and more features make it an incredible opportunity to increase the effectiveness and uptime of your fleet. But a reboot here, the way it works is when your ATM has an issue or a fault, let's say in this case the card reader goes down, what auto reboot does is in the background will actually reboot that part of the software, that part of the hardware. So it doesn't take the ATM down. Just that one component will reboot itself to see if it fixes. If it doesn't fix, then it'll be logged in the ATM. This is still an issue. And after hours, that ATM will reboot itself fully to see if it can clear those errors, because sometimes the tech shows up and all they had to do was turn it off and on again. This is going to automatically work that process. If that doesn't work and the auto reboot of the machine and the component hasn't fixed the issue, then a tech is going to be automatically dispatched to come in and take that next line of work there. So a really powerful feature that can have something can go wrong and be fixed before anyone knows about it, or even the tech can be sent before anyone recognizes that an ATM was actually having an error. Another exciting one is this duplicate service request feature. I'll show how this works here. If I'm going to submit a service request and there's something that has already had a service request, so let's say everyone is looking at some TCR, for example, and it's gone down. I select that from the list here. In this case, I'm doing a MacBook, just as an example. We can see that it's going to stop and say, hey, wait a second. There's already been a service request. Are you sure you want to create another one? We've seen issues in the past where everyone is so excited to be able to have the power that Eclipse gives to frontline users that they all want to submit tickets to make sure that things get fixed on time, which is great. But now the system is going to help users to recognize, oh, this has already been reported by another great coworker of yours. Would you like to add a note? Is this a pressing issue? Would you like to escalate? Or if it really is two separate problems, would you like to create another request? So creating these duplicates is really, really exciting work, because this is helping both less trucks to be rolled and helping keep all this information in one place where everyone has access to it. The other exciting part about this smart dispatch feature is we're excited to announce that there is some software working in the background that is going to help warn when your equipment has a chronic issue. So what that means is if you've had an ATM that has had, let's say that's had 2 service calls in the last week, and then on Monday, another one comes through, that's a little bit out of the normal. And so what's going to happen is internally in our software, when that next request comes through, it'll be flagged as, hey, something's going wrong here. There's a potential issue that we should look into. And then our incredible operations team, who all of you I know have worked with closely in the past and have rave reviews, they're really the best people here at the company. They actually will do some due diligence on every one of those requests that comes in to look in behind the scenes to see if they can figure out why there is an increase in service requests for that piece of equipment. And from there, they're going to reach out to the service provider possibly to get some more information, dig into closing notes, or possibly reach out to you to get more information about why this might be happening so they can understand and make an evaluation. And then if something is wrong, they decide there needs to be action taken, they're going to reach out to you, work with you, help you figure out what the best thing moving forward would be in regards to that piece of equipment. And this is such an exciting feature because as I've talked to so many of you, there are pieces of equipment that are malfunctioning. You just don't know which ones they are, right? They exist in your fleet, but you can't pinpoint. Now Eclipse is going to help in doing that process. And it's been a difficult thing for many clients, but we're excited that this is now working and it's live. And some of you have even benefited so far from this feature of finding some of those, bad apples that are out there, causing a mess. And so that's smart dispatch. It's those 3 things. It's automatically rebooting your Eclipse Connect ATMs so they can get fixed without you even having to know that they went down. It's being warned when there's a potential chronic issue that something needs to be looked in further, and it's preventing these duplicate service requests so that you only have to roll one truck for the one issue and not have to duplicate your work there. That's just some of the features that will be coming as we continue to work on improving the automation and intelligence of our software. Last but certainly not least for these highlighting features is this internal routing. This is so exciting. I just can't wait to show this off. So a big issue with when things go wrong is one of the biggest questions is, okay, something's broken, but now what? Where do I go for my television? Where do I go for when it's my chair that I'm sitting in? What if it's my laptop? What if it's the ATM or the drive up over the security cameras? It can be such a hassle. I mean, there are softwares just to tell you where you should go. Eclipse though now is going to handle all of that in an internal fashion so that help you put the right tickets in the hands of the right people. So we'll show what that looks like here. Oops. If I go to the organization's settings, I'll do this really quick here. Go to these settings here from our organization. I have this option of where service requests should go. Default here is that they're going to be forwarded to Eclipse. Something goes wrong, I want Eclipse to step in and they can take care of it with the incredible dispatch software we've just been highlighting. But for some of you with either small teams that want to have eyes on everything that's coming through, or those of you with much larger teams where you have internal service teams or multiple departments who are using Equips, you can begin and manage these requests internally. And I've set up an example organization here that I'll talk through. You can set a default route where everything's going to go to one place. In this case, it's retail operations at equips.com. But here's where things get really exciting. Retail ops, they're going to get all these notifications on what's going wrong, unless there's a custom route which we can build that's going to help specialize. So if it's an ATM or ITM, it's important for our Equips credit union that the ATM specialist gets involved here. Maybe this is a team of techs, or maybe we're trying to track, all the issues with our ATMs and ITMs. So what's going to happen is those service requests are going to be routed to this location. We could set up for security stuff. So if it was cameras, CCTVs, our drives or our DVRs and other security equipment, that could go to our security team, and they could handle the requests from there, so on and so forth. We could do this with, facilities stuff. We could do this with grounds. We could even have, in this case, as you can see here, you could have multiple categories go to multiple groups where both grounds and facilities could get involved in those, grounds type issues. You could have IT being routed through Equips. And then you can also loop in other people. So you could have Rebecca here, at Equips, she manages all of our drive up equipment and our ITMs. These really important. We've decided that moving into 2022, as we're transforming our branches, these are the most important things. So Rebecca is going to be somebody who's looped in on every drive up issue and every ITM issue, so she can look into those further and continue to learn for our organization. And adding these custom routes is just so easy. Just from here, again, I go to my settings. If I want to use this feature, I can turn this on to manage things internally. I can add a custom route. I can choose any category. In this case, let's just say I wanted to have this check equipment. I want to have checks at Equips. If I have a team, let's say I have a team just for checks, like we're a branch that deals with a ton of paper. I could create this check equipment category right here, and then set up my internal maintenance contact there. That way, if something comes in, any check equipment, my check team can get on it right away. And this feature is just so incredible. Like I've heard so many times that, we don't know where to go. Now Equips really is taking this next step further to being one place to go for any time that you have equipment maintenance needs, whether it be something that is in your coverage agreement, whether it be, specifically your retail operations equipment, or it's your HVAC, or it's your printer, or it's, the laptop that you've joined us today on this webinar from. That internal routing is so powerful. So just to recap, we've talked about the changes to service requests, improving the way that you can contact members of your team to collaborate. Quick reminder that you can order consumables from here if you'd like, to streamline that process as well. But we've enabled preventative maintenance scheduling for you and your teams to be able to make sure that your machines run in tip-top shape, reducing that unplanned downtime. Shared about smart dispatch, where your ATMs can auto reboots, which means they can fix themselves sometimes, as well as request service when they need help. We're automatically going to be looking into equipment issues that could have a chronic issue behind that, and also checking your equipment for duplicates of service requests, and as well that internal routing so that you can manage all of these different kinds of requests that you might have in your varied branches. We can tailor down to getting exactly what you need. So this is just a sampling of all the great features that we've released over the last 6 months, and there's so many more to come. So we're so excited. But let's jump into some Q&A. I can see that there's been some questions coming in through chat. Adam is going to run our Q&A and answer all of your questions. But again, I just want to make one more plug. Like if something resonated with you, or you have questions after this meeting, please, my email was in the slides. You'll see it again. Reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation to learn what more you want and how we can help to work with your branches. Sorry, that was the longest outro ever. Adam, let's have you run our Q&A. I apologize.
I appreciate that. Just off mute. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for some of the questions. You can feel free to continue to put those into the chat and look at some of the other exchanges that have gone on there too. So a couple of things. There was a question about kind of how we manage the PM process. Since PMs are scheduled out into the future, that gives our operations team the opportunity to look at those requests and group them and have some conversation with the provider. So, and then we have a follow-up process too that allows us to close out events. Josh had the great idea with putting like a trigger to make sure that something's been completed. We're doing that with our team, but I like that as an enhancement that we could do. If you have any concerns about users in general, making requests for preventive maintenance, then that's something we can talk about if we need to think about if we should add some restrictions. Today, we've just been kind of managing those requests, and it's been pretty good so far. And then Nicole, answering your question about preventive maintenance, that should be on your agreement information page, but your account manager can always help with that. And we can always help with PM planning. That's something that is available. As we continue to see this feature being used and valued, we're going to continue to add to it and build it out even more to give you more planning tools on how to do preventive maintenance in a way that actually helps keep your equipment up. And part of what we are always trying to work on is how to get even better at predictive maintenance, which is to say, when certain things happen, what will lead to larger outages and what are preventive things that we can do ahead of time. So that's something that we are building and are continuing to build on. So hopefully that answers that question. And then Michael, the app for the phone. So right now, what we have done is we've gone to, and Sam, you can contribute to this. I think it's called responsive design or mobile design for the actual web app. Is that the right way to characterize that? He's nodding.
Yeah, you can. We're working on making the web app usable on your phones.
Right. So it is to some degree already, but every new iteration of design that we do, we're making it more that way. So the web version feels more and more like an app on your phone. We've been watching the phone usage of the web app, and it has increased, especially providers that are hitting that or are generally hitting that on their phone. And so we've been building that to basically be phone friendly. And then there was a question or a comment from Christy, which is great, on a place to see how many PMs are left, ensure we use them. I love the idea of getting you more visibility into the PMs. There is your service reporting. You should be able to see some decent reporting and service reporting, but I'm not sure that it calls out exactly preventive maintenance compared to other things. So I appreciate that suggestion. That's really great. And then we did have another question that was submitted separately, which was how do we know that a piece of equipment is chronic? We've built automation in the background to help us look at chronic in a better way, and we're continuing to enhance that. But we have built a set of criteria based on our data that says something along the lines of if there's been so many service requests in so many days. So I'm not going to read the whole formula because there's multiple lines, but there's a formula that we're running and watching and experimenting with and tweaking that allows us to bring equipment to the surface that's having a lot more service than it needs to have. What that means is it's impacting your team, the people that you're serving in a negative way. We don't want that. And so we have built in this last couple of releases, we've done some really good enhancements to our chronic management tools. And that's allowed us to step in on equipment that has been performing badly.
To note on that chronic as well, if you have thoughts or more questions, please let's connect after this webinar. I'd love to hear how you're recognizing chronic so we can continue to add all of this great knowledge that you're already employing at your branches and at your locations. And we want to be pulling that into Equips as well. So I'd love to connect with you specifically about chronic if you have more questions there.
Yeah, we're actively and consistently developing on our chronic management. So if you have more questions, please let me know or let us know or input. Christy, I will talk to, I'm quite sure we can get you a copy of the presentation. I will check with Jenny in marketing and just make sure that that's the case. And then Josh, related to adding categories. Yeah, we can add categories. Sam, I'm going to guess on this. I believe that Equips actually has to do that. So I believe that today you have to actually submit, hey, we have a pretty comprehensive category list. It's very comprehensive. If you can't find what you want as a category on there, that is something that we can add very, very easily. So feel free to add a custom category by sending that to your account manager, and we'll get that added. And then Becky, if we want Equips to continue to manage our PM hours and make the requests, absolutely, we can continue to do that. That's our plan. We do that for many of our customers. We just had a lot of requests on, hey, we'd like to have an active role in being able to manage preventive maintenance. And so our team can continue to do that with Equips, managing for PMs. So that's Becky answering that question, I believe. And Val, nice to see you. How can we use this for internally computer equipment to track chronic problems tied to equipment problems? You can absolutely do that. All we'd have to do is get those assets entered into the database, and you can use that custom routing feature that we showed you that's been really enhanced. And I know that you and your team have been part of the enhancements that we've done to that, which is great. So we can absolutely do that. Just, I think hopefully everyone on this call knows this, but Equips is for way beyond the equipment that you have under coverage. So please think of it broadly in terms of things that can go wrong for your team that you want addressed in one place. All right. Well, we're happy to continue to answer questions. So please reach out to us. We'll make sure that you have our contact information. It's there on the screen. But also you can talk to your account advisor, solutions advisor, the whole team here. We are here for you. We love having you be active participants in the software. We built it for you and we want to make it better for you. So thank you for being here and have a wonderful rest of the day.